In this presentation, the problem will be explored and developed, and a solution will be generated, evaluated, and refined. To begin, the task and problem were explored to develop prescribed and self-determined criteria. The users are all female, ranging from 12 to 19 years of age. Most of the students will have a smartphone and need to have a simpler time discovering local friends by getting involved in the activities offered by the school. The problem outlined in this mind map is that international students have trouble participating and involving themselves in extracurricular activities due to many factors, including the language barrier, confusion about the activity, and the fear of isolation. The inability to participate in these activities means that the students are unable to make local friends that enjoy the same hobbies as them. In simpler terms, international students at St. Aidan's need a way to participate in extracurricular activities so that they can find local friends based on their hobbies. These are the requirements and constraints I've identified through the problem. Aidan's International is an application which will solve the issue that international students face when first coming to the school. Extracurricular activities are a great way for the new students to involve themselves in the Australian culture and join friendships with the local students. Aidan's International will be a way that the homestay students can see what the involvements are in each different activity and connect with other students signed up to the sport via the collection of data from the St. Aidan's database TAS. The application will be developed via Visual Studio Code using HTML, CSS, and access to the school database TAS. JavaScript will be used for the interactive element of the application, and PHP would be useful to use for the connection of databases. Aidan Central is a website that all students and teachers at St. Aidan's are able to access. It contains all information regarding school, including all subjects that the students are enrolled in, daily notices, and all extracurricular activities that the school offers. Although these extracurricular tabs do give information as to general information about the activity, it is hard to navigate through many files to find where and when the games are, and it is impossible to find what the uniform is, what the requirements for the activity are, and who of the students' peers that are involved in the activity are. This website does include connection to TAS to access the students' enrolled subject, but does not use it in the way that Aidan's International will. This is the first page in which users will be navigated to when first opening the app. It contains two text boxes for the login of the user, which will mean that all details the user enters into the application will be saved via the TAS database. In all screens on the app, there is a bar at the top of the page with the Aidan's International logo, which will ensure users know what app they are in. Finally, there is a button at the bottom of the page to link the user to a registration page in the application. Every time a button is pressed in the application, a click sound is outputted. When the Sign In button is pressed, the application connects to the TAS database and checks if the username and password are correct and match each other. If not, an error message is displayed, but if the username and password are correct, the user is taken to the home screen. If the headphone image is pressed, the user is read, "Haven't registered? Sign up here." This screen is much simpler than the last. It includes several different bars going down the screen that all have simple explanations for easier use by the students. At the top of the screen is a heading that is included in the same size throughout the app. And following the bars, there would be a large button with the word register written in it. When the Create Your Account button is pressed, the application sends all inputted data to the TAS database, but if all information is not entered, an error message is displayed. This screen includes a list of all of the activities the student has signed up to, all categorized under subheadings. Beside each activity or subheading, there is an icon that explains what the activity is for those less confident with their English abilities. The only processing involved in this screen as the screen changes to the different activity pages and to the home screen via the home button. This page is where the user can come to see what they need and where they can get it for the specific activity. It includes an image of all of the equipment required at the bottom of the page to make the buying process easier and more efficient. This screen includes one of the key aspects of the application. It displays all other students enrolled in the activity in the user's grade. This means that the user would be able to easily communicate with their class members to organize carpools and ask any questions they have. It includes a long list of names in alphabetical order, which includes the student's ID photo, name, form class, and email. As the application loads, it would connect to the TAS database. If the grade of the user matched the grade of the student, it was checked if the activity selected matched one the student was enrolled in. If this was true, the information of the student would be outputted onto the screen. This screen includes a map displaying key points that are relevant to the activity, including trainings, competitions, and the home of the user. Below the map is a key of what each point represents. Whilst the screen is loading, the application displayed the points where common trainings and games were located in the map, and then connected to TAS to display the point of where the user lived. This is a short clip of the general production of the application Aidens International. It represents the changes in screen throughout the application and the general user interface that users will interact with. There were many principles of design that were used on every screen throughout the application, which include contrasting, alignment, repetition, and proximity. Beginning with contrast, a white screen and black font were used to contrast text for easy reading, as well as large elements being used for the more important aspects of the page. In terms of alignment, all elements of the screen are either on the left-hand side or in the middle of the page, depending on the screen type. All headings are centered on the screen and all back buttons are in the lower left corner of the screen. Repetition was used throughout Aidens International, as the same elements on each screen are matching sizes and were in the same position, and the bar at the top of the screen, including the logo, was also always in the same position. In addition to this, the colors of the app were kept in the same black, white, brown, blue, and grey colors. Finally, proximity was taken into account when prototyping, which can be seen as the elements were not so close together that the text is hard to read, but is not so far apart that the screen is too long to read. To begin, all of the elements of the screen are centered to create a unique look for the login page, which is also seen in many other applications available. There is an option for the user to listen to some difficult words on the screen, which will increase the usability for users new to the English language. Feedback from the original wireframe was included for a more unique app, and a new logo for the app was created, as well as the button that reads text to the user. For this screen, there was one element that was altered to improve the user interface of the application. The proximity of each button was reduced, as it means the user will not have to scroll extensively to reach all of the registration questions, and the task looks simpler when it is smaller, encouraging more students to use the app. The activity's home screen was one of the better developed ones, with only one piece of feedback that the text on the screen should be larger. This was acted upon so that users would not have difficulty reading the different options. This screen, detailing the uniform and requirements of each activity, proved quite successful in reviews and could be improved by introducing an approximate price with each item required for participation in the activity. This would be useful so that students know how large of an expense the activity will total to. The Classmates screen is one of the most programmed and complex screens in Aidens International. It was mentioned that a link to the email of each student would be a great addition so that they could quickly contact one of their classmates if any issues or questions arose that needed attention. The final activity page, the map screen, proved a successful design with no alterations mentioned. This is the final evaluation of the prescribed criteria, and here is the self-determined criteria final evaluation.